If you are watching this video and wondering whether it is beneficial for you or not, then you are already applying correlation without even knowing it. So let's explore and learn what correlation is and how it is useful in real life. Hello everyone, I am Raj Prajapati. Welcome to my channel Statistics.Education. This video is perfect for standard 12 students, BCom, MCom, BBA, MBA, BA Economics and many other courses where correlation is in your syllabus. So let's get into it. Let's briefly look at the topics. First of all, of course, we will learn about what is correlation. After that, we will learn about what is cause and effect relationship. And lastly, we will learn about what are the types of correlation. So let's start with correlation. According to the first definition, the correlation is a statistical method which is used to describe the direction of the relationship between two variables. Now let's understand this further by learning about the direction of relationship. So if the two variables are moving in the same direction, then there is a positive relationship between two variables. For example, income and expense. If your income is increasing, then you are likely to spend more amount of money, while if your income is decreasing, then your budget will be limited and you will spend less amount of money. Okay? Now on the other hand, if the two variables are moving in the opposite direction, then there is a negative relationship between two variables. For example, price and demand. If the price of Maggi increases, then the demand of Maggi will decrease as people will start buying its substitute like Yippee, ramen, etc. I hope you understood the first definition of correlation. Let's move on to the second definition of correlation. Correlation is a method of statistics which measures the degree of relationship between two variables. Here, the degree of relationship is in numerical form, which allows us to interpret the relationship by just reading the numbers. So let's learn more about degree of relationship. Now based on numerical values, the degree of relationship can be classified into three main categories. They are low, moderate and high. Okay. Now let's learn more about each of them one by one. The first one is low degree. When the degree of relationship is low, then there is inconsistent relationship between two variables. Here, the effect of one variable over the other is very less or negligible. For example, amount of coffee consumed and the hours of sleep. The coffee consumption has very less effect on sleep. The next is moderate. When the degree of relationship is moderate, then there is a noticeable relationship between two variables. Here, the effect of one variable over the other is significant but not strong. A good example for this can be fitness and exercise. A regular exercise does improve the fitness, but the relationship is not extreme as it is not the only factor affecting fitness. And lastly, when the degree of relationship is high, then there is a strong relationship between two variables. Here, the effect of one variable over the other is extreme. For example, work experience and salary. A fresher will get less salary, while a professional worker with experience will get higher salary. That's all about correlation. Now let's understand why obtaining correlation is important. Here we have the price of tea and the demand of tea. Here we can notice that the price of tea is increasing while the demand of tea is decreasing. We can notice there is a negative relationship between two variables. When we obtain correlation, we can obtain the degree of relationship which is in numerical form, which allows us to understand how strongly the price is affecting the demand. Okay. Now let's look at some industries which is using correlation in real life. The first one is healthcare, the second one is environmental science and the third one is sports industries. And there are many more industries which uses correlation. You can pause the video and read about their studies and we will move on to the next topic, that is cause and effect relationship. When change in one variable directly or indirectly leads to change in another variable, then there is a cause and effect relationship between two variables. Here, the definition indicates that occurrence of one variable will lead to occurrence of another variable. So let's understand this with the help of an example. Factory emitting smoke and air pollution. Here, the factory emitting smoke is a cause and the effect of that is the air pollution. The second example is heavy rainfall and flood conditions. Here, the heavy rainfall is the cause and the flood conditions are the effect of the heavy rainfall. Okay. Now let's move on to the types of variable in a cause and effect relationship. The first one is independent variable. The causing variable in a cause and effect relationship is known as independent variable. Dependent variable. The affected variable in a cause and effect relationship is known as dependent variable. So in our previous example, the factory emitting smoke is the causing variable, thus it is independent variable. While air pollution is the affected variable, thus it is known as dependent variable. In the second example, heavy rainfall will be independent variable and the flood conditions will be dependent variable. I hope you understood the concept of cause and effect relationship. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is types of correlation. There are mainly three types of correlation. The first one is positive correlation, the second one is negative correlation, and the last one is absence of correlation. Positive correlation. In positive correlation, increase in one variable leads to increase in another variable. For example, temperature and ice cream sale. In summer, the temperature rises and people tend to buy more ice cream. In winter, as the temperature decreases, the people are less likely to buy ice cream. Negative correlation. In negative correlation, increase in one variable will lead to decrease in another variable. For example, if you are traveling from Ahmedabad to Delhi at a speed of 40 km per hour, your travel time will be 23 hours. Now, if you increase your speed from 40 to 60, your travel time will be decreased to 16 hours. And if you decrease your speed from 40 to 30, your travel time will increase from 23 to 31 hours. Absence of correlation. In absence of correlation, increase or decrease in one variable have no effect over the other variable. For example, salary and height. If a person's height is 5 foot 4 inches and he is getting salary of 30,000 per month, now if he gets promotion, his height will remain same, and if he gets demotion, his height will remain unchanged. So salary has no impact on his height. I hope you understood the types of correlation. Now let's move on to the methods of obtaining correlation. So there are many methods to obtain correlation, but these three are the basic ones. The first one is scatter diagram. Here we will draw a graph and obtain correlation from that. The second one is Carl Pearson's product moment method, where we will use an equation to obtain correlation. And the last one is Spearman's rank correlation method. This method is specific for qualitative variables like beauty, art, etc. In future, we will be covering each of them in depth, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for future updates. Now let's move on to the quiz section of this video. If you know the right answers, write them in the comment section down below. The first question is, price of tea and demand of tea have what kind of correlation? A. Positive, B. Negative, C. No correlation, D. None of the above. Pause the video if you want to think about it. Next question is, in which type of correlation the effect of change is in the same direction? A. Negative correlation, B. No correlation, C. Positive correlation, D. None of the above. Pause the video if you want to think about it. The last question is, when two variables are said to be correlated? A. When there is cause and effect relationship, B. When change in one variable directly or indirectly affect the other variable. C. A and B both. And D. None of the above. Let's see how many of you can get this correct.